Hey everybody, the purpose of this video is to get you some solutions to the ADA quiz here. So let's just get into it. Hopefully you read through it before, so I'll just skip through and knock through some of the questions. Let's see. Here is the code about slope and rise for these ADA ramps. The maximum rise for any run shall be 30 inches. Okay, so the first thing I did was I took some measurements here. It looks like we rose 2 feet and a half an inch. And the hypotenuse was 25 feet 1 inch. So is the ramp's rise within the code? Maximum rise 30 inches. We are 24 inches 24.5 inches. So yes, we are within code. Boom. Yes. Calculate the grade the wrong way. So the wrong way, as we discussed in class, is just taking the rise divided by the hypotenuse. We'll talk more about that momentarily. Let's do that. So I took 24.5 divided by, now that was in inches, right? The number of feet in the ramp was 25 feet 1 inch. So I'm going to divide this. Watch, see if this makes sense. 25 times 12 plus 1. So what that means, hopefully you understand, I'm converting 25 feet to inches by multiplying by 12 and then adding 1. So now I've got inches over inches. All right, so let's go ahead and hit enter on that one. Looks like it's about 8.1%. 8.1% grade. So there's your grade right there, the wrong way. Now you might have noticed up here they also told us a 1 to 12 grade is maximum allowable, 1 to 12. So I wanted you to convert that to a decimal because this as a fraction is a little messy. But 1/12 as a decimal is 0.083 repeating, which is 8.3%. So my next question was, does our ramp's grade comply? And the answer is yes. Our grade was 8.1%. Their maximum is 8.3%. So we've got it's at 0.2% leeway. So we're okay. We're shallow enough. And then last but not least was the whole, we did it the wrong way, but we want to do it the right way because this is a government operation. Right? Hopefully they've got some precision involved. So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the grade the correct way now. Now this is going to seem a little bit strange. I'm going to do the whole calculation up here in the Google bar. We still know the rise is 24.5 inches. However, the run, we have to use the Pythagorean Theorem to figure out what the run is. Now the run is going to be the square root of the hypotenuse squared minus the rise squared. We did a few of these in class, so you'll remember this, seeing it in class. So we've got to take the square root of the hypotenuse squared, which is going to be 25 feet times 12 inches plus 1 all squared, minus, notice right there at that point, we're getting an answer right here. Google's telling us there's an answer, but we have to take away the rise squared, which is at 24.5. 24.5 squared. All right, let's strike enter. We're coming up with a grade of about 8.166%. Now that's bigger. That is bigger than the grade the wrong way. And hopefully, if that doesn't make sense, let's explain why. Since you're dividing by a smaller number, it has to be a smaller number. If you think back to what the actual triangle looks like, the hypotenuse has to be longer than the run. You're dividing by a smaller number, that means the fraction is bigger. So there's your calculation right there. The grade comes in at about, if you want to round it off, I don't know what I told you to round to. I don't know if I even did tell you to round anything. I did not. That's okay, but it doesn't matter because it's still under the maximum allowable grade. So yay, we're good. We're good. We are still under 112 and we're ADA compliant. So I hope that helped, and we'll see you guys in class. Hey everybody, the purpose of this video is to get you some solutions to the quiz on these terms right here, the population, sample, variable, and so forth, and also some margin of error questions. So this was matching right here, going for these terms with their representative values from the little write-up up here. So this is an ADHD study, which as you can imagine I'm very interested in. And anyway, it's just a matter of going through here and, whoops, thank you, David, and grabbing the proper values. So Population of interest, well, if you go through there, school-aged children, they're talking about school children. So your population of interest is definitely F for school children. The sample, well, here it is right here, a random sample of 1,005. So your 1,005 school children is definitely that sample. The variable of interest. This one may have thrown you for a loop. So one way to accomplish these multiple choice is just to skip ones you don't know how to do and then go back to. So I will do that. Just in case that one throws folks for a loop. Okay, value of statistic. Okay, so up here we have to read this again. In the U.S., according to the CDC, 5% of school-aged children are believed to have ADHD. I'll give you a link there. You can check that source. A random sample of 1,005 school-aged children is taken, and of those in the sample, 8% have ADHD. So the statistic is the sample measure. So the 8% is going to be the value of that statistic, which means the parameter has to be the 5%. Whoops. The 5%. Okay, and this is commonly mistaken. The sample values go with statistic, and the population values go with parameters. Okay, the margin, which is also given after the sample, is the plus or minus 4%. Has to be. You have to be given a margin with a study. Otherwise, you assume you've measured the whole population, which is kind of silly. More on that in a moment. That leaves the variable to be D by process of elimination, and also, logically, the presence or absence of ADHD in school children. That's kind of what we're checking. Does this kid right here have ADHD? Does that kid there? Does this kid there? Yes or no? All right, so there's your first bit there for the 1 point each. Down here, 8% is larger than 5%. Might be tempting to think our sample's rate is higher, but we got to use that margin of error with that sample value of 8%. So you got to add and subtract that 4% from the 8%. So if you take 4% away, you get 4%. 4% from 8% is 4%. And 4% added to 8% is 12%. So might be as low as 4% or as high as 12%. And that's those two blanks right there, which you'll notice, and this is more of a 244 point, but you'll notice that 5 is right in between 4 to 12, which is what often happens inferentially. And this was actually bringing back the extra point here was, which percent is very hard to believe? Well, clearly it's this one. You can't sit there and claim that 5% of school kids have ADHD. The only way you could know that is if you actually measured every single one. And we've talked about this pretty much every day. You can't do that. It takes too long, it takes too many resources. So that's the one I was looking for there, the 5%, with the fact that it's most likely not going to be measurable just due to too many constraints on time and money and things like that. All right, hope that helped, and we'll catch you guys in class.